plants start? I'm going to tell you a little bit about aquaponics first and how it works, and just although you can't see what I'm telling you here, I'm going to give you the basics on how these plants are growing and how they're getting fed with the nutrients. So in the back of this room I have a number 12 or more of 100-gallon fish tanks. This is where our tilapia, our baby fish, come in at ½ gram. They're very small fry, come in. We grow them in these 100-gallon tanks to about 50 grams, a fish approximately this big. Once they've achieved 50 grams in this tank, we move them to our 800-gallon tanks in our flowering rooms, where the fish, when they come in at ½ gram, by the time they get to be 700-800 grams, pound and a half to 2 pounds, we are about 8 months in that transitional period by the time they're fully grown. Then we take them out of our system, we purge our fish for a week in salt water, kind of get that farmed brackish taste out of the tilapia, and then we donate all of our fish to Second Harvest. So we fed over 40,000 meals to date to a number of homeless shelters across the GTA. All of the fish that come out of our system go to homeless shelters through the Good Shepherd Society and the Second Harvest.
Congratulations. I think that's wonderful. That is wonderful.
We're here to help.
That's great. So why don't we do a little bit of a walkthrough? Or
just from a aquaponics standpoint, so what we haven't talked about is how I grow my plants and how we're different. We are the only people in the world growing cannabis aquaponically. Aquaponics is a symbiotic relationship between fish, water, and plants. It's the same ecosystem as a freshwater lake where you see lily pads growing and bulrushes, any milfoil, anything that grows in fresh water is fertilized by the fish that live in that same body of water. We've commercialized that same ecosystem, so we have our fish in the back tanks. Those fish are fed 3 times a day. Those fish create solid waste. That solid waste converts microbially from solid waste to NPK for my plants. Nitrates, phosphorus, potassium, through a series of mineralizing tanks, clarifiers, clarifying tanks, off-gas tanks, all these different tanks, basically water flowing from one tank to the next, converts that solid waste into usable plant food. And that's the ecosystem, so it's a totally scalable system that we've developed to be able to be as large as we want. We have 100-gallon fish tanks here. I have 800-gallon fish tanks in my flowering rooms. I could have 3,000-gallon fish tanks. It's all about water temperature, stocking density, and nutrients and parts per million of nutrient in the water. So it's a very scientific method of growing, but it's still a symbiotic relationship, ecosystem. The same water is in the system. It can be in the same system for 5 years.
So as a novice, because I don't really know anything, I mean, I love what you're telling me. How did this concept come about? Like, how did you put these pieces together?
This is, I give that to my wife, Lynn. She's a landscape architect, so she's the one who learned about aquaponics originally. Thought, and we bought this farm, it's something that I would retire to, and we were going to set up a few aquaponic systems, grow some vegetables. The idea is more from that to cannabis production. People told us when we were getting into this business that you could not grow cannabis aquaponically. There's not enough nutrients in the water. We were laughed at, basically, and we're the ones laughing now.
And the operation's been open for how long now?
Since we've been growing plants in our system since June 2015. Yeah, basically, but into 2017, early 2017, selling dried cannabis, and early 2018, selling cannabis oil. Just to tell you a little bit about our plants and what we do in here now, these are our mother plants. So we have 10 different strains of cannabis in here. So we do traditional cuttings, as you would. Most licensed producers and most people in the cannabis game take cuttings from other plants. So when we take the cuttings, we do a traditional terrarium-style rooting for our cuttings. After they've established roots inside the little cube medium that they're sitting in, we transfer them to pots. We put the pots on our flood and drain system for a couple of 2 floods. Do all the vegetative growth the plants are going to do on this table. Our plants are only about 8 inches tall. When we put them in the flower and put them in our flowering room. We do things a little differently. We're not growing big trees. We're not growing 3, 4, 5 foot high plants. We're growing 24-inch high plants that are all cola from top to bottom.
Very interesting.
So it's a little more efficient. We have a plant per square foot, where most people will leave 2 or 3 square feet in between plants, using up 9. Well, I have 9 plants in the same space that they have 1. So it's a little different methodology, but at the end of the day, I get more yield than they do. So that's my reality. because aquaponics grows my plants faster and cleaner. The nice part about aquaponics and what this does for us is that I can't use harmful chemicals. I can't do anything to my plants because whatever gets in the water will kill my fish. I don't have any fertilizers.
Okay.
I don't use pesticides. I don't use anything on my plants. They're very naturally grown. Converted fish waste into NPK. That's what my plants get fed, and they thrive because of it in this ecosystem.
Wow, very interesting. That must have been like a lot of homework, a lot of research, a lot of
and talking to a lot of people that are way smarter than I am.
And I understand when we were driving in here, you have all the construction outside. So can you tell us, our viewers, a little bit what's going on with the future of the company too?
Well, as far as expansion goes, we outside the facility that we're in now, this 32,000 square feet. We're just under